If you ever taken a trade and then thought, man, I should have waited just a little bit longer before I took that trade, then you know exactly how I feel right now. Last month, I wrapped up with 10.3R, which is solid but not perfect. I had some great trades, but looking back, I definitely left a lot on the table. And the biggest reason? So in today's video, I'm not going to just share my result, but also go through some of my best trades, some of my worst trades, the mistakes that I made, and how you could avoid them too, as well as talk about what I'm going to do differently next month. Alright, let's get into it. Now, if you're here expecting some crazy, I made $50,000 in a day video, or I made $200,000 in a month, then I'm sorry to disappoint. Now, if you want that kind of dopamine hit, there's going to be plenty of videos on YouTube that talk about those things, but for me, I track my trades in R. And here's why. R stands for risk and is basically how much you're willing to lose per trade. Now that could be $10,000, it could be $1,000, it could be $200, $50, it doesn't matter, right? So what you're doing is you're risking a certain amount of money to make more. And that's why for me, the amount of money doesn't matter because that amount of risk could always be increased. You could be trading one account, you could be trading multiple funded accounts, or you could even increase your risk per account. So what matters is the actual process. So if you're making a certain amount of R per month, the rest of it is just increasing your capital and it's increasing your risk. So for that reason, I don't look at how much I make each month, but I look at how much R or how much reward on my risk I am making. If you're new here, my name is Houman and I went from working in the Silicon Valley to building a 7-figure e-commerce business to now becoming a full-time day trader. And this channel is all about documenting that journey and sharing everything that I learned along the way. So if that's something that you vibe with, definitely go ahead and subscribe to the channel and join me on this journey. So last month I made 10.3R, which basically means that I made 10.3 times the amount of risk that I took. So if I'm risking 1% per trade, that is a 10.3% return on the account for the month. And for me, tracking R instead of dollar amount, it keeps me disciplined. I don't keep looking at a dollar amount on my P&L, but I focus on actually taking good trades. And let's be real, somebody who makes 10R with a $1,000 risk is actually outperforming somebody that is making 5R with a $10,000 risk, right? So even though they're making less amount, they're executing better. So focusing on the execution side and how much R you're making per month, that is what makes you a better trader. So now let's talk about last month's trades. So last month we finished 10.35R, took 18 trades in total, 12 wins, 6 losses, 66.67% win rate. Ideally, I really want to personally get this number up closer to that 75-80%, which I think would be really good. But in terms of day win percentage, almost 77% of the days were positive. And then as you guys could see here, kind of the breakdown, the equity curve was just, increasing with some dips. And these dips are expected to some extent. Each strategy is not 100%, so you cannot just expect a straight shot to the moon kind of equity curve. There's always going to be dips. So as long as the equity curve is going up, that is a good month. But I definitely do think that some of these dips could have been prevented. And I'm going to talk about that shortly as well. Now let's go through some of my best trades as well as some of the trades that I shouldn't have taken. And this is one of my best trades for last month. As long as I don't break my rules, the good trades actually all look pretty much the same. So let's go through this one here. This was a 30-minute setup as you can see, and the daily bias was bearish, so I would be looking for shorts. The entry price was in a discount, which is great because you don't want to buy something expensive. You want to buy something cheap. So in this case, what this means is that the price was actually retracing and I shorted it on the retracement back down for the next move. So let's go take a look at this one. And exactly that. So as you can see here with the trend line, the price was on the 30 minutes. It was in a downward trend and I was looking basically for shorts that day, right? So you could see that liquidity grab right there on the 30 minutes. And right next to it, we have the VWAP. We have a downward sloping 90 MA and the liquidity grab was right above those, grabbing that 30-minute liquidity, pushing back down, and I shorted it right at the breakup structure right there. Beautiful A+ setup. I followed every single rule, as you could see actually on my checklist to the right. That was 100 out of 100 trade, and the price really just came right back down to the next level of support. And as you can see right here, and this was a nice 200 tick trade. Now this is similar to pretty much every single winning trade that I had last month, and I'm pretty happy about it. Now in terms of my worst trades, this is gonna be the king of all of them. Let's go through it and talk about it. Now I use TradeZilla for journaling my trades, and one great feature of TradeZilla is that you actually could put your own categories. So you could track whatever you want, and for me I track my setup, which is basically my entry because I use pretty much one setup for every trade right now. What I put is my entry, so 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or 1 hour, and then I put mistakes, as well as more recently, now this one I didn't do it back then, but more recently I also look at is the price in premium or discount, as well as what is the daily bias. So that is a couple things that I recently added last week, so you're not gonna see it here because the trade is from February 17th, which is like over 2 weeks ago. And yeah, so basically in this trade I broke 3 of my rules. Let's take a look at it on the 1 hour chart. You could see exactly where I took the trade, which is right over here after such an extended move and going against the daily bias. So this day I actually came in looking for shorts, and for some reason I took a long here. And as you can see on the left, we have so much noise. There's so much bearish momentum just to the left of the chart, as you can see, right? All of that is gonna have effect to the right of it. And as you can see, I took a long here based on the liquidity grab right there off of the 15 minute after an extended move up in a downward momentum trend, which was really a bad trade. And then on top of that, to make it even worse, I had to extend my risk from -1R to -1.5R because I was so far away from the VWAP, and as the price was pulling back, I felt like it would go to the VWAP and bounce. It didn't, obviously, as you could see. I ended up increasing my risk with the red line here, and I increased my risk by 50%. So I ended up taking a -1.5R on this trade, which is really bad. As you can see here, for my mistake, I was counter daily bias. I did not honor my stop loss, and I traded against the EMAs and the VWAP. And what I mean by that, as you can see on the 1 hour, I took a long right into that 200 EMA, which I normally don't want to do. That's one of my rules that I don't want to break. So yeah, this was my worst trade of last month. So as you can see, there is a theme here. On these days, I would get impatient and I would want the price to do a certain thing, and I would jump in a little bit too quickly. Whereas I should just wait to make sure that the level is holding for a change of direction in the price. And all of these was actually a change of direction where, as you can see, the price was coming down, lower highs, lower lows. And then I just kind of was a little bit impatient to go the other direction. And I did not wait for a retest and a reconfirmation that level was holding. So that is something that I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on coming in next month. So overall, even though I'm happy with my performance and I had a pretty profitable months in my funded accounts, my biggest flaw was impatience. I wanted price to do something that it was not ready to do yet, and I did not wait for it to show me that it was ready to go in that direction that I wanted. So going to next month, one thing that I definitely want to keep an eye on is to be more patient and to follow all of my rules. Another challenge for me next month is that I'm actually going back to the US for a few weeks. So my day and night is going to be completely reversed. And here in Asia, I like to trade the Asia and London session, which is late night over in the US. Because my routine changes and my style of trading that I'm used to changes, historically, I haven't done the best when I go back to the US. But I'm hoping that this year, with my experience and also the preparation, I'm going to be okay. So I'll definitely keep you updated on that as well. Alright guys, so I hope that you enjoyed today's video and you got some value from it. If you did, definitely go ahead and hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe button. Join the family. We are on our way to 1,000 subscribers, and I would love to have you on that journey with me. And let me know if you like these types of month reviews so I do more of them as well. And let me know how your month went. What are you focusing on for the next month? And let's have that conversation in the comment section. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. See you next time.